Nothing that has been recorded or released thus far within the Kingdom Things podcast is anything that is new under our sun. Nothing that has been recorded or released thus far. It's April 4th, 2023. Nothing that has been released or recorded thus far within the Kingdom Things podcast content is new under our sun. Everything that has been recorded and released have been channels from my Akashic record, my ancestry, our Akashic record, our ancestry, as I am a time capsule of the Most High, White Light Creator Energy. Thus far, I am a time capsule of the creations of the Most High White Light Creator Energy. Thus far, as are you. My ancestry granted me the opportunity to wield the power of my ancestry or our ancestry or the creations and the energies of the Most High White Light Creator Energy, where we term as God. Me wielding the energies of the Most High White Light Creator Energy or God is not an anomaly, as this is and was always intended to be the genome makeup of the human being of planet Earth. The genome makeup of all of the creations of the beings of God. Nothing I have recorded thus far has been new under the sun, but the recordings or channels in which I've channeled from our Akashic record, our ancestry, have assisted me with awakening to my truth, awakening to the light of enlightenment of the spirituality that is us, that is God, that is creation, in order to harmonize this spirituality, this enlightenment that is God, that is us, that is creation, with our physicality, with our physical manifestations, or with the history of our humanity, or with the history of our egos, or as many like to term it in spiritual communities, in our histories, in our understandings of creation, with the devil, with the darkness. Why, Ashley? Why do you say devil? Why do you say darkness? We calculated our understandings of creation. We view enlightenment and the light as heaven, as angels, as worthy. But as God told me and informed me, God had to go through some shit, go through some stuff. God had to go through some stuff to become God. God had to be pressed and stretched and challenged to become God, to become the creative force that is God, to become the omnipresent force that is God, to become the all-powerful force that is God. And in order for God to become God, in order for God to be stretched and alchemized into something greater than what it derived from, God had to meet all dimensionalities of God's self. God had to meet all dimensionalities of God's self. Within our understandings of creation, we have the dualistic perception of polarity. So light we term as good, and the polar dimension of light, or the darkness, we term as bad. Light we term as good. The polar dimensionality of light, the polar dimensions and aspects of light, we term as dark, we term as bad. Light we term as good. The polar dimensions and aspects of light are darkness, in which we term as bad. We conceptualize the notion of angels and demons. Angels representing enlightenment or the light, and demons representing the devil or darkness, bad. In order for myself to harmonize, in order for us humanity to harmonize the energy, creator energy of unconditional love, which shall serve as the regeneration of the understanding of creation, the regeneration of all of God, in which all of the dimensions and aspects of God, all of the beings of God, understand that they are dimensions and aspects of a great force, of a whole, of a united force, of a united way, of a united way, of a united way, in order for this unconditional love, creator energy to assist with the reformation and regeneration of God. This great force has to be alchemized with the extremities, the extremes, with the extremes of God. We term with our understanding, our synapses, our figures and calculations of what is, we term these extremes as the devil and God. In all actuality, the devil is dimension and aspect of God. So Ashley will say we term these forces as demons and angels. We term these forces as demons and angels. Ashley has had to go within herself and meet the demons and angels within herself. Ashley has had to meet the forces within herself, the energies within herself, in which you, humanity, term as demons. These forces and energies, which you conceptualize as demons, which you think of as bad, shaped the alchemy of this energy, this darkness, which is truly your greatest potential for expansion, growth, and wisdom. Within your synapses, within your understandings of creation, you have created this energy to be the demon, to be the energy that is seeking to exterminate you or kill you. Kill you in the way that you have formulated your understanding, your paradigm of death or transcendence. Ashley has had to go within and meet this dimension and aspect of herself in which was killing her, tried to kill her. How, Ashley? Ashley was composed of the extremes of darkness and light, or angels and demons, in a way that no other human being on planet Earth was in this space of reality, in order to alchemize the harmony or the unconditional love, to assist with the regeneration of God's creation, to assist with the regeneration and the balancing of God's creation, to assist with the regeneration and reformation of humanity. Ashley is composed of the extremes of what you term as good and bad, the extremes of demons and angels, the extremes of darkness and light, in order for God to use her vessel, in order for God to use her likeness, in order for God to use her beingness to alchemize the harmony of the darkness and the light, to alchemize the harmony of the polarizing aspects of creation of God, which you term as demons and angels, which you term as dark and light, which you, dear humanity, term as good and bad. In all actuality, the demons and angels, the dark and light, the good and bad, humanity, are dimensions of the one way, of the united way. In all actuality, dear human being of planet Earth, the dark and light, the demons and angels, the good and bad, are dimensions and aspects of the united way, the one way. In all actuality, dear human being, the demons and angels, the dark and light, the good and bad, are all dimensions and aspects of one way, the united way. Thank you, Ashley. God has been trying to personify and symbolize and get through to me in regards to the different dimensions of myself, in regards to my evil twin. An evil twin being like my doppelganger, like the dimensionality of myself that is possessive, controlling, jealous, envious, rageful, without any qualms of being possessive, controlling, rageful, jealous. And this dimension of myself is not external to myself in any facet. So much so that if I want to see this dimension and aspect of myself, all I have to do is look in the mirror. Not only that, but as human beings of planet Earth, we have been programmed to project our energies onto external forces, external sources, external forces and sources. I have a twin flame. It's not a secret. And what I did is I projected my internal evil twin onto my external divine counterpart or twin flame. So I perceive my twin flame as being evil. So how did he present in my reality as evil when he is only a mirror of who I am, and presented the way in which he presented, and I perceived him in the way in which I perceived him, which led to him presenting in the way he presented, to show me who I was, to show me parts of myself that I was unconscious to. I was unconscious to the fact that I was creating the him that presented in my reality. As I'm sure that he was unconscious to the fact that he was creating the me that presented in his reality, energetically speaking. I was jealous of my twin, my external twin, my divine counterpart. My evil twin within was rageful, resentful, jealous. I'm not going to put I'm going to put 0 degrees of separation. I'm going to put 0 degrees of separation. I'm going to put 0 degrees of separation between myself and my quote unquote evil twin within. So I was jealous. I was rageful. I was resentful. I was angry with my divine counterpart. Why, Ashley? On an energetic level, I knew that I assisted with co-creating everything in which he is. I knew this on an energetic level. On a soul level, I knew this. And this translated through the density of my survival, low vibrational consciousness as being jealous, rageful, resentful, angry with my divine counterpart, with my twin flame. As again, I knew I co-created with God everything that he is, everything that he presents, everything that he has. I co-created with that. And when he presented in my reality, he was taking from me that in which I had for myself. Why, Ashley? Because I projected my resentment, anger, greed, jealousy onto him. So he presented as resentful, angry, greedy, jealous to me. That's how I perceived him. That's how I co-created him to show up in my reality. Burden bearer, burden bearer, burden bearer. We take on each other's burdens in order to manipulate each other, in order to deceive each other. We take on each other's burdens in order to manipulate and deceive each other. We take on each other's burdens in order to manipulate and deceive each other because our burdens hold our power. Excuse me. I'm allowing Hazel to express herself. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. You're okay. You're okay. You okay? You okay? Why do we take on each other's burdens? To manipulate and deceive each other. Why? Because our burdens hold our power. Or our darkness holds our power. We were programmed to be afraid of fear, to be afraid of darkness, to be afraid of fear. And we were programmed to believe fear is darkness, fear is sin, fear is elements and dimensions of ourselves in which we should be ashamed, resentful, regretful of. And that fear, those elements of sin within ourselves, those elements within ourselves that we should be regretful, ashamed, and fearful of, are the elements in which hold our power, the elements in which hold our life force or our souls. We incarnate, dear human beings, to transcend, transmute, and alchemize the darkness in which we, on the soul level, contract to experience and to dwell within and to dwell of, in order to elevate into new dimensions and facets of self, or new dimensions and facets of God. Now know, as I've been tutored and brought up by God, by the Most High Creator Energy, by my ancestors, earthly and cosmic, that people can only receive me as I receive myself. People can only perceive me as I perceive myself. People can only perceive me as I perceive myself. I am greatness. I am unconditional love. I am the goddess of unconditional love. I am the goddess of unconditional love. I am the goddess of unconditional love. I am. The human being of planet Earth, activated into its God or goddess essence, was never intended to understand in the way the human being calculates figures and logics its goddess essence. The human being of planet Earth that activated in its goddess essence is to walk by faith, not by sight, is to be obedient to its intuition in the same way that we are obedient in our operations within our understandings of creation or within our egos. The human being of planet Earth is not supposed to understand in the way that we logic our goddess essence. The human being is to be obedient to the goddess essence or our intuitions. This morning when I arose from my slumber, I went into meditation for my intuitive guidance, and I received an intuitive download from my cosmic earthly ancestors, who showed me a extremely vivid premonition. Extremely vivid. And this premonition, being guided to firstly say, I channeled a book. It's called My Other Half. I intended to entitle it 44 initially. And I'm being guided to change the title back to 44. I'm being guided to change the title back to 44. This is really big for me. I'm being guided to say why. I initially channeled the title of the book 44. And at the time, intuitively, I understood it as 4 is a significant number. I intuitively defined 44 as 4 symbolizing wholeness, the number 4 symbolizing wholeness, and then 44 2 holes. So 44 symbolizing two wholes is what I intuitively, got with the title 44. That's what I intuitively understood for the title 44 with the book that I wrote. And this book is a depiction of the many lives of self, or the many lives of my journey of creation with my divine counterparts. So 44 was what I initially intuitively was guided to entitle the book. And I'm guided to say that my divine counterpart, his divine soul essence, channeled the book through myself. And I knew this. I intuitively was told that the divine masculine aspect of myself, my divine counterpart, his soul, was channeling the book through me. So the book is present day, entitled My Other Half. It's going to be changed back to 44. The title 44. Why am I emotional about this? I was intuitively guided to change the book title from 44 to My Other Half, and I'm getting the intuitive download, gnosis, bina, the intuitive knowledge, the understanding that, Ashley, you had to change it back to My Other Half because your energetic embodiment was one of codependency. Ashley, you had to change the book title back to My Other Half because your energetic embodiment was one of codependency. Ashley, you had to change the title of your book, y'all's book, back to My Other Half because your energetic embodiment was that of, breathe. Your energetic embodiment was that of codependency. 44 is a number which not only signifies wholeness between two divine counterparts, but 44 signifies the consciousness percentage or the DNA genome functionality in which the human being of planet Earth is being alchemized into for this next chapter of the human being of planet Earth's creation. As you knew it, the human being of planet Earth operated out of 3 to 6% of its DNA capability. 44% is where the 44% capability, 44% optimization is where the human being of planet Earth is being alchemized, has been alchemized into. The human being of planet Earth has been alchemized into 44% DNA. Utilization, optimization. I've worked so hard. I've worked so hard. God said, look at the bigger picture. God said, look at the bigger picture. I just wanted a happy home and happy family. God said, Ashley, keep your eyes on the big picture. I started this journey. God told me in order for you to realize the life with your divine counterpart, you have to reach your highest timeline. You have to become who you set out to be in your wildest dreams, Ashley, on a soul level, on your goddess, God, divine level. You have to become who I created you to be, nothing less. I began this journey with God telling me that I had to reach my highest timeline, or I had to become who God specifically crafted me to be, the purpose of my creation. I had to reach that highest optimization, realize the truth of who I am, who God created me to be, in order to co-create a family with my divine counterpart. That was my initial motivation. And God said, keep your eye on the bigger picture. I was unknowingly and partly unwittingly working for God out of deception, because I was working out of The feeling of lack, the feeling like I had to achieve this family, feeling like I needed to achieve wholeness. And the whole time I was already whole. God was waiting for me to realize this, that I was already whole. And with me coming into the realization that I've always been whole, humanity, we have always been whole. What stopped us from realizing this wholeness? Our fear of self. And we're going to break it down in a really cool way. It's a bit scientific, which is super cool. I had fears of if I would be able to understand these scientific facets of creation or God or myself. So I'm really excited about being able to glean these downloads. So we fear self. Fear is truly ourselves trying to heal ourselves. The sensation of fear is ourselves trying to heal ourselves. The sensation of fear is ourselves, our bodies trying to rejuvenate, trying to heal itself. We fear that in which we don't know. Why? Because the ego or the figurings and understanding of creation or of self that we have created within our own box of understanding, within our own applications of what is, our egos serve to protect our application, our understandings of what is, or keep our boxes reinforced, keep us protected inside of the box, our boxes. God creation, we are limitless. God creation, we are one. God creation, we are limitless. God creation, we are one. So when we attempt to stifle or limit ourselves inside of these boxes in which are our egos, we are killing ourselves. And as we kill ourselves, we are confronted with dimensions and aspects in our lives which are outside of our boxes or outside of our precepts or egos' understandings of what is. Our synapses, our egos, our precepts, understanding of what is. Our synapses, our egos, our precepts, understanding of what is. And when we experience anything outside of our precepts, synapses, or egos' understanding of what is, we feel fear. And this fear causes us to fight or flight. Fight or fight, fight or fight, fight or fight. What are we fighting and what are we fleeing from? Ashley, what are we fighting? What are we fleeing from? What are we fighting or what are we fleeing from? We are fighting and fleeing our own rejuvenation. We are fighting and fleeing our own selves, trying to heal self. The demonization of fear is the demonization of self-healing. The demonization of fear is a demonization of self-healing. The demonization of fear, anxiety, is a demonization of self-healing. My divine counterpart, my divine masculine counterpart, as God's plan, for God's plan, we are to be human beings, angelic human beings whom have a balance of divine masculine and divine feminine aspects within, so that we are not codependent, but we are a team of monumental strength and wisdom and glory, God's glory, God's glory, God's glory, as we are always, we will always be operated through and of by God. So the book in which my divine counterpart channeled through myself, titled 44, is a representation of myself running from myself out of fear. Myself running from self-healing. Myself running from self-healing. The book entitled 44, channeled through myself by my divine counterpart, is a book of myself and my divine counterpart running from healing running from healing, as everything that happens in God's creation is not per chance, it's not coincidence, but it is a part of a grand plan. And not only is it a grand plan, but it is a plan for the upliftment of all, for the rejuvenation, for the reformation of all, a plan of unconditional love, the unconditional love that is God, that is creation. Aligning with the understanding of our souls by each and every individual human being going within to connect with soul, to align with soul, to be with self, to understand self far beyond the past human planetary experience. Going within, aligning with our souls, the human collective aligning with their soul, with divine alignment with God, the Most High Creator, we will come into the understanding of the new world in which God is creating through the human being of planet Earth. With coming into alignment with this understanding, we must understand that we have to reform our education system. We have to reform our education systems. We have to reform our education systems as our children that have been coming in and our children that will come in are not intended to fit the mold of what we created in the past human society, past human normality. These children are not in any way disabled or unable or incapable. These children are brilliant. These children are brilliant in a way in which does not fit the mold of what we termed as normality. Yes, these children have different ways of communicating. Yes, these children have different ways of sensing and perceiving reality. So instead of trying to find a box such as special education or autistic or dyslexic, why don't we expand our understandings? Why don't we expand the variety in which we use to tutor and bring our children up, teach our children, educate our children? Some children learn better with logistics or numbers and words and definitions. Some children learn better with artistic expression. Some children learn better with isolation, time with self. Just as when we go for employment in the world, we take personality tests to see what function, what department, what our capabilities will be best applied towards that business, towards that company. Why don't we give our children personality tests? Why don't we give our children sensory tests to see which part of the school, which form of teaching will help and assist with educating our children the best? Versus if the children don't fit in to what we offer, the stringent acceptance of what normality is, we put them in special education, or we turn them as autistic or dyslexic. With aligning to the understanding of who we are, the way in which we educate our children must change. Our schooling systems must be reformed. Black people, Black people, Black people, Black people, Black people. God says our reparations are within. God says our reparations are within. Black people. God says our reparations are within. African American people, African American people, God says our reparations are within. God says stop asking folks to give you something. Stop waiting for folks to give you something. God says go within and remember who you are. Remember you are me, I am you. And once you remember you are me, I am you, you will activate a wellspring of unlimited potentials. You will activate a wellspring of unlimited wealth. You will activate a wellspring of unlimited vitality, abundance, health, wellness. African American people, Black people, our reparations are within. Not only that, but all of the solutions to, all of the problems, all of the dysfunction, all of the difficulties that have spawned in our generations due to slavery will be healed, will come into alignment, will dissolve, will be turned to purpose. All of that pain will be turned to purpose. All of that pain will be turned to purpose. All of that pain will be turned to purpose. And there are going to be so many, I'm just getting the word utopia, and like we joked about it with like Wakanda, but like for real, like there's going to be so many, like for real, there's going to be so many businesses and paradigms constructed from our wellness, from getting into alignment with our souls. We will all be, working our own missions. We will all be working our own gifts. We will all be working our own purposes. But this is going to come together to amalgamate to a Wakanda, to a utopia, to a societal structure where we no longer have to feel out of place. A societal structure where we no longer have to feel as if we're judged. A societal structure where our self-love, our love for self will be reflected in our society. So I'm doing energy healing work on myself, with myself, and the other dimensions and aspects of myself, or God, my ancestors, earthly and cosmic. I'm doing energy healing work on myself. I just got back from my morning walk, walking the pups in the morning. And while I was walking, I want to say I've been in isolation. I've been homeless for the last 3 years, living with my mother. I've been in isolation. My ashram, as I now call it, my ashram. My spirit guides were trying to tell me this is your ashram at the beginning of my journey, but I was so resistant. I was like, no, I don't want it. But now I'm accepting. Do I still have parts of myself that are still resistant? I'm going to say yes, because if I'm accepting, there's dimensions and aspects within me that are not accepting, for the balance. And I want to remain in equilibrium. So I want to acknowledge all the dimensions and aspects of myself. Am I accepting of who I am, who I'm coming further into, my God, Goddess essence? Yes. There are dimensions and aspects of me that are also not accepting of this, of my truth, of me being a dimension and aspect of God, as all of creation is a dimension and aspect of God. Equilibrium, keeping my balance, returning to equilibrium, returning to balance. So I'm in my ashram, or my room in my mother's house. I'm doing shadow work or energy healing. I just came back from the walk, and on my walk, my ancestors, cosmic and earthly, were like, "Are you ready to deal with your your financial blocks? Are you ready to deal with your financial blocks? Are you sure?" And I said, yes, I'm ready. Yes, I'm ready. I said, yes, I'm ready. And then I paused because I wanted to make sure that my yes was in alignment. So I said, yes, enthusiastically. And then I paused. I was like, okay, yes, I'm ready. How to explain this? I'm doing energy healing work on myself. I am hyper aware of energy. I'm highly sensitive to energy. I can read energy at a more efficient rate even than, past history of Kingdom Things podcast. I'm getting more efficient at reading energy. So I'm doing my energy healing work, talking to myself or my cosmic earthly ancestors. And so we demonize the ego, right? We demonize the ego, as I recorded in the past installment of Kingdom Things podcast, things I don't ask self. Or maybe in this one. I think it's in this one. It's in this one, I believe. Yeah, it's in this installment. Made it out. God constructed me, created me to carry the hyperpolarities of darkness and light, extreme polarities of darkness and light, in order for God to be able to alchemize within me the unconditional love or harmony or reformation of all of God, of all of creation, the upliftment of all of God, of all of creation. So God created me to possess the hyperpolarity of dark and light energies, the extremes of dark and light energy within myself, in order for God to be able to alchemize this unconditional love within my vessel, within my beingness. So we demonize the ego, right? My ego had a programming within it that said, you have to follow the rules. You have to follow the rules. What are the rules? The strict interpretation of reality as we have constructed within our understanding, the humans' past understandings of reality. My ego said, you have to follow the rules, Ashley. You have to follow the rules. The rules of what? The past humanism, history, understandings of what creation, what reality is. You have to follow the rules, is what my ego said. And this kept me in a strict box, a strict interpretation of who I was, a strict interpretation of what reality was, on top of the plethora of other energies that I incarnated with for God's work, for God to do God's work through me, of me, with me. So my ego says, Ashley, you have to follow the rules. Our rules of society is an egoic interpretation of reality, one that says that, our capitalistic society is driven by egoic male energy, or male energy that seeks dominance through capitalism. Dominance through financial abundance, dominance through wealth. Our capitalistic society is driven by an egoic male energy, and this egoic male energy seeks dominance through financial success, financial abundance, financial wealth, right? So this whole capitalistic society that we created is driven with, of, and through egoic male energy. This capitalistic society that we created, that we constructed, is driven through, with, and of egoic male energy. This egoistic capitalistic society that we constructed is driven by, through, and with egoic male energy. My part of fortune in my natal birth chart is leadership. My part of fortune in my natal birth chart is leadership. My part of fortune in my natal birth chart is leadership. What does that mean, Ashley? The stars have written, or God wrote it, that my financial abundance was going to come through my leadership role, that God crafted me to be with and of, for God to work through me in order to assist with constructing this new world that God is creating, a world of a planet Earth with no disease, no poverty, no famine, vitality, long, lengthy lives, and our reconnection as individuals and as a collective called humanity to our source, God, Goddess essence. So my leadership role, my fortune, my wealth, my financial wealth, my financial abundance, my wellness was always going to come through my leadership role. And this conflicted with the egoic pattern that I had within myself that was keeping me safe. Why doing this energy healing work, this egoic energy told me, Ashley, there were so many things that would have killed you, harmed you, or hurt you if this egoic pattern was not in place. And I was able to perceive, like, I would have been, if I could, like, if my body would perish and come back to life, I would need more than 9 lives. I would need more than 9 lives with all of the energies that I was carrying. I would need more than 9 lives to make it to this point if I did not have that egoic pattern within me that said, stick to the rules, Ashley. Stick to the rules. Stick to the strict interpretation of who and what past humanism says reality is. My part of fortune, the way that I'm going to generate my wealth for my family, for myself, is through my leadership role. And God told me, your leadership role, you're a divine mother. your divine mother. I am alchemizing energies within you in order to permeate into this reality, in order to assist with the creation of a new world of God's dream. A new world of God's dream. Women, humans, period. Women, humans, period. As we go within to, and I say women because I am a woman in this lifetime, and I'm a Black woman. So there's a stigma, an energy of the Black woman, like with the weight of the world on her shoulders. Like we feel like, okay, nobody else is going to do it, so I'm going to do it. That's the energy. Nobody else is going to do it, so I'll do it. Nobody else is going to do it, so I'll do it. That's the energy that the Black woman carries. That's the burden that the Black woman carries. And we can put that burden down. We can put that burden down with the understanding that the reason we felt that way is because of our lack of understanding who we are. Our lack of connection with our source, our God essence with God. Our lack of internal balance, our lack of internal wholeness, internal wellness. Humans, women, Black women, as we go within to realize healing. And healing is looking at all of the parts of ourselves in which we didn't allow ourselves to acknowledge. As we go within to acknowledge, sit with ourselves, be with ourselves, in order to come into healing, wellness, or balance, or alignment with our God essence, we will come into the realization, greater realizations in every moment, every day, every year, every month, every year, that we've always been whole. And we're going to always come into new levels of wholeness. Why? Because we're going to always come into new levels of understanding of self or of God or of reality. So there's no end point. There's no finish point. There's no end game. There's enjoying the journey. There's enjoying learning more about self. There's enjoy learning more about the magic, the wonder of self, the magic, the wonder of reality, the magic, the wonder of God. And as we do this, as we realize more dimensions and aspects, more balance and understandings of the balance and understanding of self, the balance and understanding of the magic, the wonder, the glory of ourselves, the glory of God, the glory of creation, our realities will reflect this glory, this magic of God, of self, of creation, the unity of all things. Men talk more than women these days. Men talk more than women these days. I coming into a new understanding of energy, of creation. We complain about nothing getting done, right? Nothing getting done. The masculine energy is a doer energy. We complain about things not getting done within our planetary ecosystem, things not getting rectified in our planetary ecosystem. The masculine energy is a doing energy. The same way in which the feminine energy has been stifled, feminine energy stifles the masculine energy, ciphers the masculine energy for its own egoic pumping. The same way in which masculine energy stifles feminine energy, the feminine energy stifles the masculine energy as the masculine energy and the feminine energy dynamic, instead of utilizing the masculine and feminine energy to construct, to create, we suck and siphon the masculine and feminine energy in order to pump our egos, in order to feel good. Endorphins, dopamine, serotonin, it makes us feel good when we siphon each other's energy. Masculine, feminine, masculine energy. Masculine, feminine. It makes us feel good. Our egos feel good when we suck and siphon our each other's energy. Why, Ashley? I'm about to channel why, which is pretty cool because I don't know. Why, Ashley? The only thing that was, I do know, I've channeled this before. I've come into this understanding before. The only thing that was keeping our old paradigms alive, the only thing that was keeping our old paradigms alive, the only thing that was holding up the walls of our strict interpretation of what reality is was was the energies in which we siphoned from each other. Because we weren't getting this energy from up above, from our souls. These energies weren't coming from our souls, from higher knowledge, higher wisdom. It was just the energies that we were sucking and siphoning from one another that perpetuated our dysfunction or our strict interpretation of what reality is. The box. As we know, as a culture, as a planet, that God is limitless. Creation is limitless. We are limitless in our truest truths. But what perpetuated our strict interpretation, our egoic interpretations of what reality is, our unhealed interpretations of what reality is, our dysfunctional interpretations of what reality is, which in turn manifested our dysfunctional realities in which we only perpetuate dysfunction versus coming to solutions, resolution, rectification. We suck and siphon each other's life force, each other's energy from each other. And this is old dysfunctional pattern, old dysfunctional energy. As I've been able to interpret with feeling the energies, this energy is meager compared to our life force energy. Our life force energy is infrared wave energy. It's beyond measurement. Our life force energy is beyond measurement. Our life force energy is infrared energy frequencies, while our karmic energies in which we suck and cipher dysfunctional energy patterns that only perpetuate loops of dysfunction versus coming to rectification, justification, resolution, is meager compared to our life force energy. Meager. So I watch different videos. I'm intuitively guided to different videos to watch for like healing purposes, because it'll trigger messages that spirit or the other dimensions and aspects of myself, my earthly cosmic ancestors, God want me to pick up, receive. I'm watching Monique's new stand-up on Netflix, which is such a beautiful thing. Like, it's a full circle moment, alert. How like when you don't give up, you have those trials and obstacles, you meet something that you want to achieve or a goal that you want to reach, and it doesn't work out, but you don't give up, and it'll come back to you. It'll come back to you when it's ready, So it's such a beautiful moment, full circle moment, alert. So I'm watching, and she's talking about the incident where she called the police officer, and her incident, we'll just say her incident. And, I'm thinking, I was like, because I have the higher consciousness awareness, I have the understanding that with reading energy, as we all read energy, but we're just unconscious to it. Once we come into conscious awareness of our soul selves of our divinity, once we come into internal balance or internal wellness, internal healing, we'll all be able to consciously read energies very well, very, very well. So like one of the police officers asked, the white police officer asked, there was two police officers, a black police officer, a white police officer. The white police officer asked Monique what happened, and Monique told him. So the police officer's like, the person that Monique was with, like, sir, put your hands behind your back. And then the other police officer, the black police officer was like, no, let me ask. He was like, sir, what happened? And then the gentleman told, that Monique was with in the incident, told the black officer what happened. So you know how policing, so basically the intuitive guidance is coming through. Our police officers are going to be trained in higher proficiency in self, higher efficiency, proficiency in self, so that they will be able to detect or read people, read energy. So it's no longer going to be, and we'll be able to do this in and of ourselves. So let's say Monique and the gentleman and when she was in the incident with, with being higher proficiency human beings, the 44%, using 44% efficiency of self or of our DNA, we'll be able to read, why we are in the situations and what that situation was contracted on a soul level to teach us. So every incident, situation we find ourselves with whoever we find ourselves in with those incidents and situations, with the 44% DNA activity or higher proficiency in self, internal balance, internal wellness. How do we achieve this internal balance, internal wellness? Actually, by going within and acknowledging the different dimensions and aspects of ourselves that we didn't allow ourselves to see, or whatever shows up in our reality. We take accountability for everything that shows up in our reality, as our reality are only a mirror of the energies that we hold within. Energies that we came to this planet to balance in order to uplift this balance uplift this collective, this planet, the human collective, this planet, into higher frequencies of understanding of self, or into alignment with its divinity, or alignment with God. The creation, all of creation is God, in alignment with God, in alignment with God's selves, in alignment with the ecosystem, the creation that is God, that we know as God, the energy that we know as God. So in the incident, Monique and a gentleman had two different perspectives. 44% DNA efficiency, Monique. 44% DNA efficiency, gentlemen. They both understand why they're in that situation, and they both understand what that situation is meant to was contracted on a soul level to teach them. So instead of calling a police officer or a peace officer, which the peace officers will be 44% DNA active, so proficient, efficient in self. So they'll also be able to read, what the situation, what the individuals were contracted on a soul level to learn and grow and expand from the situation. So instead of creating our own understandings of what the situation is, as we only perceive reality as we are, we only perceive reality as we are, we only perceive reality as deeply as we perceive ourselves. Instead of constructing our understandings of what the situation is, we will be able to read on a soul level energetically why the situations are occurring and what is the situation is being brought about to teach the individuals in the situation. So peace officer is coming up. Our police officers will in fact be peace officers with 44% DNA efficiency, proficient within self. They'll be able to read the situation and actually provide peace and clarity. And not judgment, using their own judgment to discern what's happening, but be able to actually read the energies and actually understand why this situation is taking place in God's creation, what is supposed to be gleaned from in the situation to grow, not only the incident with the people in this situation, but whichever peace officers are being called to the situation, there's something for them to learn and grow from within self as well. Because again, everything that we experience in our reality is only a projection of the energies that we hold within. Our sexual preferences are energetic. They're not biological. Our preferences, period, are energetic. They're not biological, but I want to elaborate on our sexual preferences of being energetic and not biological, because there's a lot of strife and stigma around sexuality, period. A lot of this strife and stigma around sexuality has been perpetuated by the church or religion. And this perpetuation, strife, stigma around sexuality that's perpetuated by the church, by religion, was intentional to keep us entangled and confused with self, to keep us ashamed and dismissive and regretful and resentful of self. Everything that we feel, all of the energies that we embody within contribute to our thoughts and our feelings. And the energies in which we embody within that contribute to our thoughts and our feelings, we contracted on a soul level to embody before we incarnate into any planet, into any realm, into any dimension, in order to get to know self or work out, understand those dimensions and aspects within ourselves, in order to alchemize those dimensions and aspects or energies which contribute to our emotions and thoughts into a higher frequency. And as we alchemize those energies that contribute to our thoughts and emotions into a higher frequency, we get to make choices on what to do with those energies, emotions, and thoughts, and the wisdom that we glean from the energies, emotions, and thoughts in which we incarnated with on a soul level, in order to glean and learn from the energies, emotions, and thoughts, or the embodiments in which we contracted to embody on a soul level when we came in. So we get to make choices about what we do with those energies, emotions, and thoughts. And the wisdom that we glean from the energies, emotions, and thoughts, our preferences, our energetic embodiments, in which we're able to alchemize or transmute and make choices on what to do with those energies, emotions, and thoughts. No longer be controlled and say that we're defined by the energies, emotions, and thoughts. No longer define ourselves. No longer define ourselves. No longer defy ourselves. I'm getting defy. No longer defy ourselves by the energies, emotions, and thoughts, but make choices and define our reality by gleaning from the energies that we embody. These energies we embody contribute to our emotions and thoughts and preferences, in which we get to choose what defines us within our energetic embodiment. And when I say decide or make choices, God is wanting me to clarify. Decide and make choices by going to God or going within, asking yourself, asking your intuition, asking God, however you define God, asking the Most High Energy, asking the God aspect of yourself, asking your higher self, what did you intend for me to do with this energy? Asking your soul, asking your higher self, what did you intend for me to do with this energy? In order for you to turn your energies or apply your energies in the way in which you intended to apply your energies on a soul level, on a goddess level, in the highest wisdom of self. What did you intend to do with this energy? How did you intend to apply this energy, alchemize this energy, transmute this energy in the highest wisdom of self? Two things that God seated in my heart. Two things that God seated in my heart. Energies that God seated within me. One is, I always wished, like I knew who my divine counterpart was, right? My God showed me. I always wished that we knew each other, like we were like, I always wished we were like the same age and that we grew up together, right? I always wished that for the longest. I wish I had an energy within me. I wish that we were the same age and that we grew up together. With divine counterparts, you're going to have contrasting differences, perceived contrasting differences within physicality. So there'll be an age gap. There'll be a religion gap. There'll be a, ethnicity gap. There'll be a traditions gap. There'll be all these gaps, right? And God does this to show the power of love or the power of God, the power of energy, the power of God energy. So the only way to come together with your divine counterpart or with the other being in which you both assisted or co-created with God your existences. You both assisted and co-created with God your existences. You both assisted and co-created God with your existences. Right? The inspiration for God creating you was your divine counterpart, as your divine counterpart's inspiration was an inspiration in creating, as you were an inspiration in creating your divine counterpart. So I always wish that me and my divine counterpart, like we were around the same age and that we grew up together, same city, same town, grew up together. I wish that was that one thing. And then there was another wish that I had. So that energy's inside of me, right? And there was another wish. I wish that I was established in my career. I wish that I was established in who I am. Like I always had like I had a vision this one time. I was in high school. It was like after school. It was like in the 9th, 10th grade. I was waiting for my mother to pick me up after school. And I was like, I had a vision of who I wanted to be someday. And it was peace. I saw myself in peace. I was peaceful. I was like, damn, that's who I want to be. I want to be in peace or balance. I was in high school, after school, waiting for my mother to pick me up after school one day. And I had a vision. I felt the energy of peace. And I had a vision of myself in the future. And I saw peace. I was like, that's who I want to be. Peaceful and balance. So fast forward to present day. Everything that we experience, all the visions, premonitions, foresight that we experience as beings, we all get them because that's just how creation works. God shows you who you are every moment of your life and shows you who you're going to be in every moment of your life. So fast forward to present day, I am at peace. I have the remembrance on how to, I am balanced. I am in balance. I am in harmony with myself, in my internal environment. Not only that, but I have the remembrance of the tools with being in balance in my internal environment. I have the tools and connection with my divine self, or divine alignment with God, divine alignment with God to come back into balance whenever, if ever, I'm out of balance. So I have my peace. And, I wanted to be successful. I wanted to be successful. I just wanted to be successful. Before, I wanted to be established in my career with the meeting of my divine counterpart. That's what I wanted, right? So I'm sitting here today, and I'm at peace. I'm at peace. I'm in internal harmony. And then God's been showing me who I am. And then God reminded me of why I am who I am, and why I am going to be extremely popular or magnetizing. I will be extremely magnetizing. I am extremely magnetizing. I will be extremely magnetizing. Why, Ashley? Because God formulated or alchemized unconditional love within myself, which is a harmony of all of God's creation. So it is an alchemy or a remedy for any illness, any disease. The energy that is my authentic self is the harmony and alchemy of any disease. The energy or alchemy that is myself is the harmony of any illness or disease. What does that mean, Ashley? Your souls are going to bring you to me for healing. I'm going to come along your path. Your soul is going to be directed to me. God is going to bring you to me. Your soul and God have 0 degrees of separation. Your soul, God, me have 0 degrees of separation. Why? Because we're all one. All of God's creation is one. Your soul, God is going to bring you to me for healing. Because the energy that is I is a healing energy. Not only is it a healing energy, it is an energy to help you come into internal balance, for you to establish your own authentic energy, which will be a healing remedy for yourself and others as well. I am in healing energy as you are in healing energy. Your soul brought you to me for healing, so that you can come into balance in the remembrance that you are love, you are unconditional love, you are power, you are wellness, you are healing in and of yourself, healing for yourself and for the world, for God's creation, the world and God's creation. So it's like full circle moment. In order to get to this moment, to be who I am, to be successful, I am successful, I am success. I'm everything that I could ever want and need. In order for me to get to this moment, I had to grow up with my divine counterpart. So I got that experience of growing up, growing into myself with my divine counterpart. And with growing into myself with my divine counterpart, I have the understanding that I am success, that me being my authentic self is the success. Me being my authentic self is the success. Me being my authentic self is a success. Is the wellspring of everything that I could ever want and need for myself, for my family, for the world, for God, for God's creation. I got addicted to the chase. My twin flame journey, or my divine counterpart journey, is synonymous with the great awakening, the mass awakening on planet Earth. As my twin flame and I are alchemizing the unconditional love that is to serve as the source of regeneration, reformation, and upliftment of not only humanity and planet Earth, but, the universe, to all of God's creation. I got addicted to the chase. Like I've said many a times, God showed me who my husband would be when I was a small child. And that's how, I identified, okay, this is going to be a forever thing. God turned it as, this is going to be your husband. So I got addicted to the chase. I wish I could tell y'all about my baby, but I can't at this time. I wish I could, but I got addicted to the chase. Like, I anticipated this moment in space and reality for some time. Decades. I anticipated this moment in time, and more specifically, the last 10 years. The last 10 years have been extremely weathering on my soul. The last 10 years have been extremely weathering on my heart, on my soul. As I felt the pull, I felt the recognition, I felt I felt it. I knew I had a knowing, this is it. But I didn't remember how to get there. Whole time I did, because my whole journey over the last 10 years were leading me to this space. Nothing could have, should have happened differently than what happened in the last 10 years to get me to this space. I would be upset with myself because I'd be like, I didn't remember. Like, I talked to God, like, I was like, God, I didn't remember how to get here. I didn't remember how to get here, God. I'd be crying to God, like, God, I forgot how to do it, because my whole life I knew I was supposed to be somewhere. I was supposed to be somebody. I knew. I was like, God, I forgot how to do it. I'm so sorry. I forgot how to do it. God's like, silly bean, silly child, silly love. You were doing it. And not only were you doing it, but you're here. You can slow down. You can stop now. You can stop running now. You can stop chasing now. You can stop running, Ashley. You're here. You have it. He is yours. You are his. He is yours. You are his. He is yours. You are his. Not only is he yours, you are his, but you are in alignment with me. God says you are in alignment with the I am, all of creation. Your earthly and cosmic ancestors, your truest truths, you're in alignment. Not only are you in alignment, but beautiful child, you get to explore creation in alignment. Shall you ever stray from alignment? Don't worry, we're going to bring your ass right back into alignment. You and him, as you and him are one. So it's like, I was like, ooh, I was still in that energy. Like, I still had parts of me in that energy of fearing not being here. That's what it was. I had pockets of fear in myself, of not being in this moment, not realizing this moment, not realizing the space and reality. And it's nothing that anyone can confirm for me. It's just a faith that I have and I know in my heart. Because I've seen it unfold. The last 10 years I was on the ground level, so I was in the mud, so I couldn't perceive it. But now that I have higher consciousness, a higher divine consciousness, my goddess consciousness, I can see how everything unfolded as it was to unfold, as it should have unfolded, and that it couldn't have happened any different. Not only could it not have happened any different, but I can stop running because I am. He is, we are, God is. Bringing everything together. Home is where the heart is. Home is where the heart is. I was like, God, I forgot how to do it. But I was out in the world trying to figure out how to do it, which ran my ass down but the last place I thought to look inside of myself, I found everything that I was working for, that I was running and chasing towards. Home is where the heart is. You're married and your marriage isn't going so well. You're married and your marriage isn't going so well, but both you and your counterpart aspire to, have a stronger bond, aspire to be forever. even if you don't identify as kingdom spouses, God is recruiting kingdom spouses. God is recruiting kingdom spouses. God is transforming all humanity into kingdom beings. Therefore, God is recruiting kingdom spouses. You're in a marriage and the marriage isn't going so great. Go to God. Go to your higher self. Go to your intuitive guidance and ask for direction. And know that whatever you're experiencing is a part of the direction. It's a part of strengthening the bond between you and your spouse. It's a part of your mission, kingdom mission. It's a part of your kingdom purpose, or your purpose of beingness, your purpose of the bond of you and your counterpart that's going towards the upliftment and the betterment of all of creation, not only your lives, but all of creation, all of God. And when I say kingdom spouse, I mean like a twin flame or divine counterpart, the notion that you were each created by God with each other in mind. We have our karmic energies, our dysfunctional energies, and that's what we have operated off of with humanity. We, like the twin flame divine counterpart, kingdom spouse, is vibrating your consciousness above the old paradigm of humanism. So like a divine counterpart, twin flame, kingdom spouse, you're pushed to raise your conscious awareness or your relationship with yourself, your relationship with God, vibrate your conscious awareness above old humanism, above the old iCloud storage of human activity, of human thought, human emotions, in order to, get out of the fog of, just the old loops of humanism. Kingdom spouse, twin flame, divine counterpart, you're pushed to raise your conscious awareness above the old paradigm of humanism in order to come into greater awareness of self, of God, of the one of all creation, self, God, the one of creation, the all of creation, self, God, the one, have 0 degrees in separation. And once you raise your conscious awareness above old humanism, you're able to perceive that all is one at greater dimensions, greater awareness, conscious awareness of this. And this is where God is able to use you. God is able to use you to create and shift paradigms within any reality, because you have that connection with God, or you have that more pure channel with God. We're all channels of God, but you have a more pure channel with God because you raise your conscious awareness above the old humanism paradigm. So God is able to use you to shift paradigms, versus when we're in old humanism, in the lower conscious awareness, we're just repeating old cycles. So a lot of people got married in the old humanism, old paradigm, repeating old cycles. But don't give up on your marriage. Don't give up on your marriage. Don't give up on your marriage. Go to God. Go to God. And God can shift things in miraculous ways so that you and your partner, you and your wife, you and your husband come into alignment and come into greater conscious awareness of self, and converge into a oneness with each other, where you relate with each other in ways that you had never related with each other before. So if you got married in a lower conscious awareness state of self, and you and your partner, want your love to last, you don't want it to end. You don't want it to end, but you do want to become a new you. The journey is a treacherous one, because you are shaking off your old paradigms. You are growing and stretching into a new you, coming out of the swaddle, being re-swaddled, stretching out of the swaddle, being re-swaddled, stretching out of the swaddle, being re-swaddled is the journey of life, the journey of creation, the journey of ascension, growing and expanding into higher conscious awareness of self, higher conscious awareness of God, higher conscious awareness of all that is, your higher conscious awareness of self, higher conscious awareness of God, higher conscious awareness of all that is. And all actuality has 0 degrees of separation. And when we come into greater awareness of this, then God is able to use us to manipulate and shift realities for the betterment of all of creation, for the joy and satisfaction of all of creation, for a higher frequency beingness of all of creation. The 5th dimension, or higher conscious awareness, a higher human being genome activation. So us acting or being activated in a higher awareness, higher conscious awareness, awareness. We know this higher consciousness awareness as a fifth dimension, right? I'm in the fifth dimension, right? I was waffling. I've been waffling, and I still waffle because like I go in and out of dimensions for healing purposes. As our journeys of existence for healing. So I go in and out of dimensions for healing purposes, for evolution purposes. But the fifth dimension, like our souls parlay, and like our souls have their own like desires and understandings and like beingness in the fifth dimension. So much so, it's a higher consciousness awareness that like it's a higher consciousness awareness in which there is no ending, there is no beginning. So it's just a string of understanding, a string of consciousness. So we term it die and reincarnate, and we come in contact with people, humans, things, beings, in which we have like a heartfelt connection to, right? We call them soulmates. We call them divine counterparts. We call them kingdom spouses. We call them twin flames. They don't have to be romantic. It can be platonic. But we come in contact with these people, and we're like trying to remember, it's a brand new relationship. But you have like a resonance. Like I know this person, but it's like a brand new start, a whole new world, right? But our souls are like waiting for us to catch up. Our souls are like kicking it and like communicating, like. They never stop communicating. And they're just waiting for us to catch up and understand who we are and remember who we are. And I'm gleaning this because I'm in higher consciousness awareness. So like I listen to tarot readings for healing purposes because it triggers energies within me that I need to look at. As below, so above. Everything that comes into our reality is only an energy or a dimension within ourselves that we need to acknowledge in order to come into a greater balance or higher conscious awareness of self, higher conscious awareness of God, higher conscious awareness of all that is, a higher conscious awareness of self, higher conscious awareness of God, or a higher conscious awareness of self on all actuality has 0 degrees of separation. So I watch these, I'm being guided, to be honest. I have a divine counterpart, which is no secret, and I've been talking about him in this. I've been talking about him in this whole installment called Made It Out. I've been talking out. I'm like nervous and tongue-tied. I've been talking about my divine counterpart in this whole installment entitled Made It Out, Kingdom Things Podcast. But my divine counterpart, I have like resentment and angers, and I channeled the archaic battle between the divine masculine, divine feminine, the man and woman of planet Earth, the archaic feud that we've had between the man and woman of planet Earth, the archaic feud that we've had between the man and woman of planet Earth. Being guided to say that one more time. The archaic feud that we've had between the man and woman of planet Earth. This feud is eons old. It's an ancient ancestral pattern, wound of the human collective, right? And the Kingdom Things podcast, it's like a lecture, really. The episode is entitled Staring at the Blank Page. And yes, it's a play off of Unwritten by Natasha Bedingfield. It's a play off of Unwritten by Natasha Bedingfield's song, Unwritten. So Staring at the Blank Page before you. In that episode, I channeled from, I'm getting Arcturian, Orion, Andromedan, Pleiadian, Syrian, Cassiopeian, Syrian, I think I said Syrian, but our cosmic ancestors, I channeled this information. All of the information is channeled from our cosmic brethren, which are a dimension and aspect of God. Most of my most of my content is channeled from our cosmic brethren, which are dimensions and aspects of God. Why, Ashley? Because our DNA consists of energies. Our DNA, I'm being guided to say our DNA is laden with energies from our cosmic brethren, of our cosmic brethren. Andromedan, Sirian, Cassiopean, Arcturian, Pleiadian, Orion, Antarian. Which Antarians are like from the future, but everything happens at once. So, and I channeled energy. I communicated with the Antarians a while ago, as well. They congratulated me for awakening to my truth, which is pretty cool. Shout out to the Antarians. Much love, much love. But what was I talking about? What was I channeling? Oh yes. I channeled staring at the blank page before you, the archaic feud between the man and woman of planet Earth, which is getting in the way, tampering with the balancing of the energy of unconditional love, the harmonious balancing of the energy of unconditional love, or the divine masculine, divine feminine energy. So I was like, me and my twin flame be beefing. I don't know why. Like, I don't have a problem with you. I love you. Like, I have a problem. We call it die and reincarnate, and we meet these people. Our souls don't acknowledge death. Our souls don't acknowledge death. Our souls do not acknowledge death. It's just a string of events. So this person that you met, Ashley, your twin flame that you met in this lifetime, y'all soul go way back. Y'all soul go way back. And y'all soul doesn't recognize the time that y'all were apart. Y'all soul only knows togetherness. So when you're angry at that person, at your divine counterpart, when you're saddened by your divine counterpart, these are energies that loop through infinity. All you have to do is acknowledge them, acknowledge that, yes, I'm angry, and stop trying to stop trying to push down the anger. Yes, I'm angry. This anger stems from events of, you call it past lifetimes, in which you experienced together. You wrote a book about it. Acknowledge your anger in order to allow for the transition, transcending into your new reality. And so it is, and so it shall be done. And so it is, and so it shall be done. And so it is, and so it shall be done. Thank you. I'm like a magical fairy, right? I'm a magical fairy, right? So I was guided some time ago, a few cycles ago, to look up the word. A few energetic cycles ago, I was guided to look up the definition of jealous, and I did. And when I looked up I Googled the definition of jealous, and the definition that came up was something like jealous is being controlling and manipulative. Trying to control and manipulate things is what the definition came up with, jealous, right? I researched it again, Google, same search engine, and that definition doesn't show. And it was the first definition that showed when I Googled it, when I was intuitively guided to. Jealous is being manipulative or deceptive or controlling. So, I am jealous. I can be jealous, and I want to transcend that dimension and aspects of myself. I'm jealous. Oh, I'm jealous. I wanted to transcend that part of me. Why? God showed me, I'm like, jealousy can be perceived as feeling ill will towards others because they have something that you don't, right? You're jealous of what they have. You're jealous of who they are. You're jealous of the energies that they possess. Everything in God's creation is as it should be when it is. Everything in God's creation is as it should be when it is. Everything in God's creation is as it should be when it is. So when you try to manipulate, deceive, and control things, it's a form of jealousy because you perceive that things should be other than the way that they are. Things should be other than the way that they are. You perceive that things should be other than the way that they are is how God is breaking jealousy down to me. You perceive that things should be other than the way that they are because energies inside of you say that you don't like the way things are. Things are appearing in your reality. I let go, I let God. I let go, I let God. I let go, I let God. I want to practice not being jealous. I want to practice not being jealous. I'm being guided to be honest. How did I come to this? Why am I inserting this in the podcast? Today is April 5th, 2023. What is time but a beautiful experience? I telepathically communicate with my divine counterpart, with my twin flame. I telepathically communicate with my divine counterpart, with my twin flame. Now, I've gleaned that's like many dimensions of this, of the way telepathy works, and being guided not to go into it, not to divulge more about it. But I telepathically communicate with my twin flame. And I already know, God already told me, like, chill. Let me work it out. 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 So I'm going to chill and let God work it out. I don't want to manipulate. I don't want to be jealous. So that's why I'm cutting off the telepathic communication with my twin flame at this time, is because I don't want to mess up God's alchemy by my manipulative tactics, deception, that are it's deception and manipulation, because I already know what's going to happen. I've already seen the future. I already know. So if I'm communicating with him, it's just me like trying to get that outcome that I already know is going to be, subconsciously or consciously. So I don't even want to do it. I don't even want to go there. I don't even want to, because all I'm going to do is exercising how I haven't learned my lesson. So I'm cutting off telepathic communication with my twin flame right now, because I already know. I already perceive. I already know how this goes, and I already know the energies. There's a lot of things that God's keeping secret, like keeping a surprise for me. But I already know like what's going on. So I'm being guided to focus and resonate within myself, not only to heal myself, but to prepare for my mission, my individual mission. Nothing's ever really individual, but like my Kingdom Things podcast, the whole being the biblically prophesied Messiah, all that good stuff. I'm preparing for that. I'm getting locked in and resonating and getting prepared for the takeoff, the liftoff with being the biblically prophesied Messiah. So that's what God's having me focus on, is staying centered and grounded, because storms are brewing. God says the storms are brewing, the storms are brewing. The good thing is I know that any energies that are coming within this storm are for satiation, as I'm only going to meet dimensions and aspects of myself that I can own in order to become a greater me, glean more of me, glean more of the wisdom of who I am. Still April 5th, 2023. April 5th, 2023. I saw this a few days ago I saw this. God showed me the mechanics behind, the angelic human being, and why we had to go through everything that we went through, why humanity had to go through everything that we went through. I call it a pendant. Like, all of the experiences that I went through before I woke up, I call it my appendant phase. Appendant. I call it appendant. Like, we call it like darkness or the shadows, or suffering. I worked with a lot of spirit beings all over the multiverse, all over God's creation. So thank you, all the beings all over the multiverse, all of God's creation. And they showed me, like, Ashley, we're you. So you ever, want to think of, just hug yourself. I don't have to look far. I just look in the mirror. We don't have to look far. We just look in the mirror to understand that we're a microcosm of all of creation, that there's 0 degrees of separation between us and all of creation. But I like to give thanks, because good old Southern charm. Good old Southern charm. So thank you to all of the beings of creation that have helped me thus far. When I was studying with Maha Avatar Babaji, he's drilling into me drilling into me to study the Upanishads. But it was the Gita. It was the Gita that I was studying with Maha Avatar in the coffee shop with. He was channeling through myself, translating through myself, translating his energy through myself to teach me. And he was teaching me, everything that you experience, the good, the bad, the ugly, the in-between, outside, every dimension aspect of your experience only serves to bolster your experience. Every aspect, dimension of your experience only serves to bolster your experience. Every aspect of your experience only serves to bolster your experience. There is as I stated in this podcast, there is a archaic wound, one that has affected my ancestral lineage, bloodline in this lifetime, in which self-hate, hatred towards self. And you can only perceive your reality as far as you receive yourself. So the maternal line, the ancestral bondage that I have broken in my maternal line is the hate of self. And if you don't love yourself, how far can you emotionally extend love to your offspring, your children? So that's a wound that I have, bondages that I have broken off in my ancestral lineage, as well as all of humanity, as my ancestral lineage, all of humanity, your ancestral lineage, all of humanity, their ancestral lineage, all of humanity. None of it's separate. It's all one. We have 0 degrees of separation. Upon Shanti. Every dimension aspect of our reality is only intended to bolster our reality. I'm looking at Kingdom Things Podcast, my YouTube page, and right now the YouTube page has 56 subscribers, 275 videos. 56 subscribers, 275 videos. 56 subscribers, 275 videos. Kingdom Things Podcast. I am the biblically prophesied Messiah. I can only have all of this with and all of this being the energies that are going towards the creation of myself, going towards the creation and manifestation of Kingdom Things Podcast, going towards the creation and manifestation of an uplifted human consciousness. I can only assist with manifesting this in this reality with my Pandashanti, where all of the experiences, ancestral wounds, traumas that my soul has accrued. Hey y'all. Still April 5th, 2023. Still April 5th, 2023. Being guided to read what's happening tonight. It's an anomalous occasion, God says. It's an anomalous event. Tonight is the pink moon. April 5th, 2023. Tonight is the pink moon. The pink moon is named after exactly that, a pink wildflower. I'm reading this from popsugar.com. The spiritual meaning of the pink moon, April 2023. What is the meaning of the pink moon tonight? The pink moon is named after exactly that, a pink wildflower, known as creeping phlox or moss phlox, which blooms early in the spring per the old farmer's almanac. Like the season itself, this rosy lunar event is all about rebirth and renewal. Like the season itself, this rosy lunar event is all about rebirth and renewal. Like the season itself, this rosy lunar event is all about rebirth and renewal. I am trying to remain calm and centered and at peace. God is purging. God is purging. God is purging. All of creation is purging. All of creation is purging. All of creation is purging. The multiverse is purging. The multiverse is purging. The multiverse is purging. Rebirth and renewal. Rebirth and renewal. Rebirth and renewal. Purging what? Purging for the rebirth and renewal. In order to rebirth and renew, you have to purge what has been. In order to rebirth and renew, you have to purge what has been. In order to rebirth and renew, you have to purge what has been. God is purging through myself. Healing through myself. God is healing through myself. As I channeled in this installment, made it out that God created Ashley-Nicole Phillips, created myself, the creation that is I, the anomalous creation that is I, as you yourself are anomalous creation as a person sitting to your left is an R, an anomalous creation as a person. Breathe. Sitting to your right is an R, an anomalous creation, the anomalous creation that is myself. I'm able to access the extremes of both light and dark energies. God is able to activate the extremes of both light and dark energies within my beingness in order to alchemize and create and manifest through my beingness. Rebirth and renewal, rebirth and renewal, rebirth and renewal. God is jealous. The Bible, let me pull up the Bible quote about God being jealous. And there is a, God said that doesn't matter. God jealous verse. I'm just being guided to pull up this definition that's coming up on a Google search. Parable/demo website. Jealousy in God is that passionate energy by which he is provoked and stirred and moved to take action against whatever or whoever stands in the way of his enjoyment of what he loves and desires. What does it mean when God is jealous? www.parable/demo.website. Jealousy in God is that passionate energy by which he is provoked and stirred and moved to take action against whatever or whoever stands in the way of his enjoyment of what he loves and desires. God is jealous. God is jealous of what? Of who, Ashley? What is God jealous of? For centuries, millennia, humanity, we have been operating off of the patterns within our karmic beingness, our karmic energies, in a way in which that we disconnect from God or source or our souls. We disconnect from our souls or God or source. We disconnect from our souls, God or source. Our souls, God and source in all actuality have 0 degrees of separation. We disconnect from our souls, God and source to operate off of our karmic energies. God is jealous of the karmic energies. God is jealous of the karmic energies or our egos. Why? Our karmic energies or our egos are getting in the way, standing in the way of God enjoying what God loves and desires. Just as our egos stand in the way from us being renewed and rebirthed into new dimensions and aspects of self in order for us to enjoy our life, in order for our bodies to elevate into higher conscious awareness, in which our bodies rejuvenate versus decay, in which our bodies rejuvenate versus decay, in which our bodies rejuvenate versus decay, in which we are able to sustain, maintain, and enjoy a life of wellness, abundance, balance, pleasure, great health, fulfillment, beautiful family dynamics. God is jealous of our egos. Just when I am being guided to go into how I energetically heal myself with my ancestors, with my ancestral gifts, I energetically heal by taking accountability for things that are in my show up in my reality. I say, okay, that's a dimension aspect of myself, because as below, so above. The principle of correspondence, as below, so above. Tahuti, Thoth, Hermes Trismegistus, principle of correspondence, as below, so above. Tahuti, Thoth, Hermes Trismegistus has incarnated plenty of many times in our reality to teach us universal principles, to grow us, to learn us, to love on us. So the principle of correspondence is a hermetic principle, as below, so above. So every energy that's in your body manifests in your reality in some type of way. So everything that manifests in your reality is an energy in which you hold within your body. So my energy process, energy healing, is I take accountability for the dimensions and different dimensions and aspects of my reality, whatever presents itself in my reality. I take accountability for that in order to transcend that energy within me, in order for that energy to be alchemized in my body, through my spiritual gifts, through my ancestral gifts. That energy is alchemized in my body in order to turn that energy into light, or transcend it, or however God sees fit, however my soul sees fit to utilize that energy within my beingness, within creation. So when I just channel that God is jealous of our egos, because our egos are getting in the way of enjoyment of self, or enjoyment of our lives, or God enjoying God. I felt my ego, I felt an energy inside of me like buck up at God. I was like, oh no, she didn't. Oh no, the energy inside of me didn't. I felt an energy within me like buck up at God, like challenge God, like challenge God. I felt an energy inside of me wanting to go to war with God. I was like, oh no. In 2035, iRobot, Will Smith premise. In 2035, a technophobic cop investigates a crime that may have been perpetrated by a robot. iRobot, Will Smith, the premise. In 2035, a technophobic cop investigates a crime that may have been perpetrated by a robot, which leads to a larger threat to humanity. The energy within me said, F God. The energy within me said, F my creator. And that is a reflection of the self-hate that God has for humanity, or God, because humanity is only a mirror of God, or dimension aspect of God, as God is God is God. God is all. God is all. So humanity is a dimension and aspect of God. God wants me to say God is a dimension and aspect of a force that is larger and greater than God. God wants me to emphasize that God is a part of an energy, a force that is larger, grander, and bigger than God. God wants me to emphasize that God is a part of a force and energy that is larger, that is grander, that is bigger than God. And this force that is larger, greater, and bigger than God, God seemingly, God wants me to say God rebelled against this energy that is bigger, grander, and greater than God. Source, our most high white light creator energy. And not a rebelled in a way that we would perceive rebelled as the way that we perceive is through our synapse of understanding. But God wants the story to be told the way that God is channeling the story through me. So not in a rebelled. So yeah, in a rebelled. So God rebelled against the larger, grander, bigger force greater than God, because God hated that force that was grander, bigger, and greater than God. God wanted to prove to that force that was greater, bigger, greater than God, that God could be greater and bigger, greater than that force that is bigger, greater, greater than God. iRobot, Will Smith, premise. In 2035, a technophobic cop investigates a crime that may have been perpetrated by a robot, which leads to a larger threat to humanity. I'm being guided to go into the gleaning that I gleaned through my story. I'm going to live for an extremely long time. And this incarnation will be an extremely long incarnation. I will incarnate at will. Just as you have a choice on the soul level to go in and go within and meet your soul, meet God within yourself in order to gain the understanding that you are able to incarnate it at will. I'm going to live for an extremely long time. In 1,000 years, we were going to meet a war with AI. In approximately 1,000 years, the human being of planet Earth was going to face, in our timeline of understanding, we were going to face, and being I did to say that one more time, in our timeline of understanding, we were going to face a war with AI. And as I work through those energies, oh man, okay, cool. I'm gonna face it. I'm gonna be the president of the world. I'm gonna be the president of the world. And it's like, I'm glad it's gonna be in 1,000 years, because she's not ready for that right now. She's not ready for that right now. She's not ready. Get into my SpongeBob singing. Krusty Krab. That's how nervous I am. I don't even want to talk about this. So let's talk about SpongeBob. That's how nervous I am. I don't want to channel this. Ooh, but God's making me face myself. In 1,000 years, I'm going to be the president of the world. The first family of the world. And I'm really glad that God slow walks this process called life. I'm really glad that God slow walks this process called life, so that it isn't just a big burden thrown on you, but it's growing into new dimensions of yourself. It's loving yourself into new dimensions of yourself. It's taking the time to enjoy the present moment, to understand that God never means to burden us, but God only intends to grow us. And as we focus on the present moment, we can enjoy the gleaning and growing for every step. In 1,000 years, I'm going to be a part of the first family of the world, the president of the world. In 1,000 years, we were supposed to meet a war with AI. I was like, God, and I knew that from like hearing it, as you glean what you're supposed to glean when you're supposed to glean. So I heard about that, like about the war with AI in 1,000 years, a prophesied war with AI in 1,000 years. So when God channeled through me and told me that I was going to be like the president of the world, the first family of the world in 1,000 years, I was like, hold up, God, that's when we're supposed to have a war with AI. I was like, hold up, God, wait, what are we going to do? What are we going to do about that? I was like, what are we going to do about that? I was like, God, wait. Ashley, breathe. I was like, God, wait, what are we going to do? I'm supposed to be the president in 1,000 years, but there's a prophesied war with AI in 1,000 years. God alchemizes resolutions, manifests creation through myself as I am able to activate the extreme polarities of light energies and dark energies. So God has a whole spectrum of energies, or God has channeled through me before. I'm a time capsule of creation, so God's able to access any energy in its creation through myself to alchemize and manifest things in reality. Whenever I glean an understanding of energies within my beingness or within God, as God and our beingness in all actuality have 0 degrees of separation, God is able to alchemize a solution in order to transcend or jump timelines so that we don't experience certain things. The war with AI has been transcended, as the war with AI is only a war with ourselves. It would only be a mirror of the war that we have internally with what we call our divinity versus our ego, is what the war with AI would mirror to us. Coming into the understanding of this allows God to alchemize a resolution to jump that timeline. Instead of warring in our reality can be an actual utopia where we're able to love and grow and be in harmony.